Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ambassador's Lounge. Tensions along Pakistan-Afghan border have escalated sharply as a result of recent hostilities between the two sides. In fact, they mark the most significant and serious escalation ever. Now, Afghan Taliban forces reportedly opened large-scale offensive operation against the Pakistan military positions along Pakistan-Afghanistan border, prompting Islamabad to launch Operation Ghazab-ul Haq. And this is a series of retaliatory air and ground strikes deep inside Afghanistan, targeting Taliban posts, bases, ammunition depots, and militant hideouts. Both countries or both sides have claimed inflicting heavy damage, casualties on the other. Ladies and gentlemen, the hostilities, they not only reflect a breakdown of the ceasefire which had existed or which was in place since October last and which was mediated by Qatar and Turkey. It also shows that both sides can be locked into a dangerous cycle of retaliation which could spiral out of control. An intensified and a prolonged conflict along the border would mean more insecurity, more instability. It would mean greater civilian displacement and deeper diplomatic rupture between Islamabad and Kabul. So what is required is, at the moment, is diplomacy. Pakistan could persuade the regional countries, or Pakistan could go for a regional approach, because the danger and the terrorism emanating from Afghanistan can inflict all the regional countries. Therefore, a united approach would be required for the containment of this menace. We already know that Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Iran, they have not only expressed concern, they have asked the two sides to exercise restraint, and they have also offered to mediate. So tonight we confront a series of questions. It's quite startling in nature. Has Pakistan's restraint and patience been construed, or rather misconstrued, as its vulnerability? And then has Pakistan recalibrated its Afghan policy? And are we entering a dangerous new confrontation with the very regime we once saw as a security buffer? This is the issue I intend to discuss with my panelists. I have with me Ambassador Asif Durrani and Ambassador Amjad Sher. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Asif, coming to you first, right? Was this escalation sudden, or was it building quietly for months beneath diplomatic silence?
Imran, thank you. In fact, it was brewing, and you may recall that on 11th October, again, we had those exchanges, and very serious exchanges, which led to those mediation from Qatar and then followed by Turkey. And then finally, in the last few weeks, it was Saudi Arabia, which also got involved. But what we are witnessing at the moment is that we are now in a state of war. Let us be blunt. We should not mince our words. We are in a state of war, and then the trust has been the first casualty, which between Pakistan and Taliban regime has been witnessed for the past 4 years. It was gradual, and the TTP's activities attacking Pakistan, killing our people, has been gradual, but it increased almost 70%. So one has to say that during so-called democratic period in Afghanistan, it was much better than what we are witnessing during Taliban's time. And then we are also blamed of supporting Taliban or have been instrumental in their success, in their victory, and they are coming to Kabul. While I dispute that, this was not the case. It was Americans who negotiated with the Taliban and they brought them here. The rest is history. But TTP, they have been enjoying complete patronage protection from the Taliban regime. And Taliban regime has been in a denial mode. They don't want to accept publicly that TTP exists in Afghanistan. They don't want to accept that TTP leadership is living in Afghanistan, who are hobnobbing and who are, launching conspiracies and launching attacks in Pakistan. So, but at the same time, this is the hypocrisy on the part of the Taliban regime. When you negotiate bilaterally, they say, okay, we want to relocate those TTP people and their families to the center of Afghanistan. And then they have been requesting money for construction of their houses. So this is the way they have been operating. And I think what we saw last night, the exchange of fire between the two countries, destruction of their posts, had to come. And it is a serious development. And I don't think that any amount of mediation is going to address the mistrust which has been created.
So Asif, is this the beginning of a sustained cross-border security doctrine, mate?
Till the Taliban are in power at the moment, I think don't expect anything different. And my personal view is that Taliban have opted for a suicidal course. And it is, in fact, they will be shooting in the feet. They have already shot in the feet. And they would be, in fact, there would be dissatisfaction. And then already, people are getting worked up. People are getting, restless in Afghanistan. And the poverty graph has touched its, unprecedented levels. And we are witnessing that it can explode anytime then. Because of the poverty, the likelihood is that people will start leaving the country.
So you said that they have shot themselves in the foot. Well, what about the losses which will occur, the damage which will be done, the insecurity, the instability which Pakistan will have to face? What about that? Are we keeping an account of that?
Well, we are really cognizant of the fact that the damage is going to be on both sides, both civilians and military, both. But at the same time, that is the Afghan, they are facing the damage more than Pakistan. So far, according to the latest data on the social media, 275 terrorists have been killed, including the Afghan military personnel also. On the Pakistani side, only 12 military personnel have...
That's what our ISPR...
Exactly, they have embraced Shahadat. But now look at this, that we have to separate the Taliban, the regime. Now we should also call them the Taliban, because I used to call them Afghan government, because they have always called themselves Afghan government. But now they are Taliban too. But what went wrong, why they have turned against us, that is something which is beyond our comprehension. At the same time, we also understand that the Taliban, Pakistan was the only country in the whole region that was supporting the Afghan government in every way, like Afghan Taliban 1 or Taliban 2, even with Hamid Karzai, even with Ashraf Ghani, whatever the situation was, although Hamid Karzai and Ashraf Ghani both were anti-Pakistan, but still Pakistan maintained diplomatic relations with them, normal relations with them, bilateral, and they had been visiting Pakistan, and from Pakistan side there were also significant visits. But now the level of trust, as Ambassador Asif Durrani has pointed out, is so low that the only thing that now is remained is that severance of the diplomatic relations.
So severance of the diplomatic relations, that would be too low. That would mean end of diplomacy. So can we say, Asif, that this is a start of a fundamentally new and hostile phase in Pakistan-Afghan relations?
I think this hostility has already been there. It was brewing, as I said earlier. But it has now reached to a culmination point where the two sides have attacked each other. First, Taliban attacked, and then we responded. So here, I think this is not a good omen for Pakistan-Afghanistan relationship. And the irony is that both sides raised the slogan, Nara Takbir, Allahu Akbar. I mean, it is such a shame that the two Muslim countries are fighting with each other, and then Taliban, they consider themselves to be the champions of Islam.
So the two countries are divided by the same ideology.
Divided by the same ideology, but it is power politics.
Power politics.
On the part of Taliban, they think that they will bring Islamic system in Pakistan. They don't consider existing system in Pakistan as un-Islamic without pointing out which clause of our constitution is un-Islamic.
Exactly. So what you two gentlemen have said, Asif, staying with you, what you two gentlemen have said is that there is a serious deficit of trust. Diplomacy is on the brink, and this could be a start of a new phase in our relations. Now, if this, first of all, these attacks which Pakistan has, these strikes which Pakistan has conducted, you think that it's going to be sustained pressure on the Taliban regime, or it was just one-off?
I think it depends on the evolving situation. Taliban side have recently, before coming here, I saw a couple of foreign channels, and it was said that the Taliban now want to stop the hostilities. And they have also hinted that they are ready for the talks, alluding to the Taliban spokesperson. So probably they have got the jolt as the response from Pakistan was quite harsh. I think it was, if you compare it, it was 1:5 response. That has been calculated by the BBC channel. So if that is the case, so I think Pakistan has sent a loud message.
But Asif, so did the Americans when Osama bin Laden was there. The Taliban were prepared to lose their power, lose their seat, but they were not prepared to let go Osama bin Laden. So they have a degree of stubbornness. And do you think because of just one strike, they are more pliant now?
I don't think so. That won't happen. Issue is
they have talked before. They have discussed before. There was talks through intermediaries.
They boast about that. They think that they defeated the Americans. I think they did not.
Everyone thinks that they did not.
Americans did not want to stay in Afghanistan because they had achieved, after killing Osama bin Laden, they had achieved their objective, as explained by the then administration. Secondly, it was when Trump, in his first stint, he asked his generals, can we win the war? The answer was no. So it was a stalemate. So his response was that pull out the troops. Why are we wasting our blood and treasure? So that was the case, and they didn't want to. And it was almost, you can say, they had to spend $2.5 trillion over a period of 20 years. And whatever system they brought in, whether it was Karzai or it was led by Ashraf Ghani, it could not withstand the Taliban pressure. With the 300,000 troops, they just melted down.
Yeah, right. So I'm just coming to you. Now, in the background of whatever you two gentlemen have said, is Pakistan prepared for a prolonged conflict along the border? And is there a political will? Most important, is there a political will? Are we politically and economically stable to embark on such a course?
Well, for the defense of the country, these things are economically and these things are not looked at. You have to defend your homeland, your territory, your borders, first thing. Secondly, as Ambassador Asif Durrani referred to the statement by the spokesperson Zabiullah Mujahid of the Afghan government that they are ready for negotiation or talks. I think the Afghans have now this volte-face by the Afghan government is that they have now realized that there are internal differences, and and even all the Afghan people are also not happy with them. So they are now afraid of the regime change from within. Maybe they are that's why now they are coming up with the offers of that they are ready to negotiate and talk about how to stop the hostilities. Now you talked about the Pakistan. Pakistan has been fighting the terrorist and extremist element for the last 40 years. And Alhamdulillah, Pakistan is there and strongly defending itself. So Afghan government are these few individuals inside Afghanistan.
Few individuals?
Like 5,000, 6,000, and the Afghan, this government, they are not the whole...
It's a different ball game. It's a different war. 5,000, 6,000 have made your life mess.
This is not the whole of the people of people in Afghanistan. They are fighting against Pakistan. This is only the Afghan, so certain elements, and the TTP elements that they are fighting against Pakistan. None of the whole population of Afghanistan are against Pakistan. So we need to separate between the common Afghan and these terrorist elements and the Afghan, the
Afghan Taliban. Okay, Asif, is Islamabad's long-standing policy towards Kabul facing its biggest blowback moment?
What do you mean by long-standing policy?
Hasn't it been long-standing? We have been supporting the Taliban first stint, second stint, and we continue to support the Taliban till the time the Taliban said no.
I think
you have been supporting them in many ways.
Taliban 1.0 and Taliban 2.0 were you had to deal it in different circumstances. And mind you, these Taliban were part of the Mujahideen groups.
Yes, they were.
They emerged from there, and then those Mujahideen to whom we were supporting against the Soviets, they turned against Pakistan. So don't grudge about the Taliban. It was very much in their DNA. When they got the opportunity, Burhanuddin Rabbani rushed to India, because they had developed differences here. First among the Mujahideen groups, and secondly with the government of Pakistan, government of the day. So here, I think there is a history of mistrust between whatever Afghan factions who were in prominence or ruling the country, or now you are dealing with those Taliban. So there was always a level of distrust between the two. And we happened to be, quite elated and quite enthusiastic about our support to these Mujahideen groups or to Taliban. So much to our chagrin.
Yes, this is what you are saying, that it was in their DNA and all this. This is basically made an afterthought. When the things were there, everyone, and as you rightly said, that 2.0, when they returned to power, there was an elation, there was jubilation in Pakistani quarters, particularly in the corridors of power, that they have returned and everything would be okay. So we had obviously misunderstood Taliban. We had misunderstood their thinking processes. So Amjad, when all this thing is now there, has Pakistan conducted a serious internal audit of its post-21 Taliban policy assumptions? What were the miscalculations made?
I think we misunderstood the Afghan psyche. There is a famous saying that Afghanis are in peace when they are at war. So Afghans need it is in their
So, mate,
side.
that's now. Have we conducted an internal audit?
We need to conduct that.
We need to. We have not.
We have not yet. We have
Okay.
not realized that
Have
we have.
ever...
Just a second.
in one
Just a
point-
second. No.
I will
Asif.
forget. Have we ever conducted an internal audit?
We will come to that. We will come to that, mate. Amjad.
Yes.
So, have we conducted an internal
We
audit?
have not yet conducted that, but now we have realized that whatever we did for Afghans, that was our blunder. We must now accept it. And now Taliban and Afghans have also shown their face to the whole world that they are not to be trusted anymore, but keep maintain with them normal relations.
So, if we have not conducted an internal audit, we don't know what our miscalculations are or were. Do we know what our miscalculations were, Asif?
Even if we know.
No. Do we know?
No.
Do we
Even-
know?
Let me. It's just not a yes or no. Even if we know, we are unable and we are incapable of course correction.
And
Just a second. Amjad, just a second. Let him complete.
Why? Because now, if you ask my view, and I was at that time, before joining the Foreign Service, I was of the view that we are committing a blunder by supporting these mujahideen. And that later on proved to be right. And then among those mujahideen emerged the Taliban. Those Taliban who, in fact, while they may have brought the peace, but that peace was called peace of the graveyard in 1.0.
Yes.
Subsequently, when they came and signed an agreement with the Americans in 2.0, they said, we are changed, we have learned lessons. What lessons have they learned? They became more harsh as far as women are concerned. They are no more treated as human beings. They are not even, worth like an animal, a goat, a cow. Now, someone should ask that what these Taliban are going to do after 20 years, whether they are going to show their women to male doctors if they fall sick.
Well, that's their.
This is very serious.
This is serious.
Because you are, in fact, pushing a whole generation, half of your population,
Correct.
into becoming non-entities.
And one miscalculation, which you would recall the statement by a former army chief Aslam Beg. He had said that Afghanistan is a strategic tip for us in case of war with India. That was also a miscalculation, and that should not have been said. Afghanistan will never be a strategic tip for us, and they would not welcome us even in that case.
So what you gentlemen are saying is that, in fact, we mistook tactical alignment against the US for a long-term strategic commitment by the Afghan Taliban to us.
We are reaping what we have sown.
Oh God, okay.
Yes. So let's be fair.
Do we realize that?
Let's be fair, and let's be honest, and let's admit our mistakes. We had no business to be involved in Afghan affairs. If they were killing each other, we should not have, interfered. Let them, have their own system, whatever they want to do. We should. Why? We thought that they will become friendly. Have they become friendly now? We have burnt our fingers now. And we burnt fingers 2-3 times during the past 47 years. So we have to go back to the drawing board and then decide that what mistakes we have committed. And this is the best opportunity now. This is the best opportunity now to decide and declare it and bring in rule of law in the country.
Yeah, well, that's a very
Bring
big
in rule of law in the country, because we are suffering. Now, today, we are suffering at the hands of these Taliban because there is a lack of rule of law. in the
Absolutely,
country.
absolutely correct.
And our defense minister had also said in an interview to the BBC that we have fought the war of America of the West. And
Yes, he did say that. I don't know why he said that. But yes, he
was,
said.
that was also a blunder on our part.
Okay,
that
so
we
now,
fought others' war.
Gentlemen, is the real conflict which we see between those two sides, is this ideology, that is, we are separated by the same ideology?
I don't know what do you mean by ideology. I mean, Taliban ideology, if that's the ideology, I would rather be an atheist to follow that ideology. If they call themselves Muslims and then killing the innocent people, then it's no more ideology that they pursue or they want to follow or they want to propagate. That is nonsensical. That is jahalat.
Correct. Amjad, your take on this, mate?
I think the Taliban are still living in a pre-Islamic era. They have made the woman a useless creation.
That's what Asif said. Now, final question, people. How transparent, and I want both of you to respond to this question, how transparent and meaningful is the Afghan policy debate within Pakistan's civilian military leadership, or is it fragmented? Asif, first you.
Let's not divide it. My suggestion would be it should be done in the parliament. Make parliament supreme. Things would fall in place.
Amjad?
We should give diplomacy a chance.
No, I know we should give diplomacy a chance. I'm talking about the debate, the internal debate. Internal debate.
There should be internal debate in the parliament, in the Senate, and also at the, the scholars level, the experts level. Defense analysts should also talk about it, but they should come up with a unified stance, a policy vis-a-vis Afghanistan. And again, the Foreign Office should be involved.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight the debate is not about hostilities. It's not about airstrikes. It's not about diplomacy. It's about an illusion which may have collapsed. It's about a relationship which was long described as brotherly, which was long described as fraternal, cozy, and strategic, gone sour and increasingly tense. For years, Pakistan believed and in fact boasted that it knew Afghan Taliban better than anyone else. We thought that because of close proximity, the proximity or religious proximities, and the linguistic proximity, the geographical proximity, and because of the fact that we had a certain amount of relationship, a special relationship with Taliban, we in fact helped Taliban propel to power. We thought we had a certain degree of leverage over them. So when they returned to power in 2021, we proudly claimed that all would be well. But ladies and gentlemen, what if excess was mistaken for leverage? And what if political and ideological alignment was in fact tactical alignment during anti-US war or even during anti-Soviet war? And it was misread as permanent loyalty and convergence by us. This was a serious security lapse, and there has been no accountability of it. Now, the uncomfortable reality is that we are facing not just a militant threat from a hostile neighbor, we have an ideological neighbor whose priorities are different from from Pakistan's national interests. Pakistan has apparently decided to adjust its Afghan policy, and as per the new realities, and Pakistan has decided and is determined to use force. But what if we still fail to bring down the graph of terrorism? What exactly would be the deterrence equation? And if diplomacy, even through intermediaries, fails to produce result, do we have a plan B or plan C? This is, ladies and gentlemen, no longer a border management issue. It is a strategic reckoning. Thank you for watching Ambassador's Lounge. Please subscribe to our channel and we'll be back.